This program is part of the Cosmic Potato Podcast Network. For more shows like this, visit our website at cosmicpotato.com.
Hey, listen!
All right, you guys, podcast time.
Make it so.
It's me, Mario!
I'm Batman. Strong am I with the Force.
Are you telling me that you built a time machine out of a DeLorean?
You're a wizard, Harry.
And welcome to World War G, episode 166. I'm Troy.
I'm AJ.
No Colton.
Colton. Even though we're in Utah, we do still like to enunciate occasionally.
Yeah, he doesn't like his name said that way.
Colton?
Yeah, Colton. Colton.
Colton.
He is out of state right now. He's in California, I think he said.
Listening from California?
Yeah.
I hope.
Yeah, I hope so.
Right.
Yeah, so we're doing OG World War G this time. OG WWG. Yeah, we weren't here last week because my schedule didn't allow for it, but that's okay.
We'll make up for it this week by making it an even better episode.
Even better than what last week's would have been.
Exactly.
Which last week it would have been
epic,
an awesome,
right?
Probably the best, I would say.
Yeah, but this is just a tribute to the greatest podcast episode in the world. You know.
Okay.
A little tenacious.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah.
I liked it.
All right.
So, here I have a list for you.
Okay.
And a lot of the times our lists go kind of long, but this one I think we can get through pretty quick. 10 insane but true facts about famous movie costumes.
Yeah, I like to know sometimes what's under the mask. You know,
I love this kind of stuff. I love hearing about behind the scenes stuff with movies.
Yeah.
Number 1, the Cowardly Lion in The Wizard of Oz had to carry a lot of weight. Burt Lahr played the role, and his costume weighed an astounding 90 pounds.
Jeez.
Oh, and it was made from 2 real lion skins.
They're not lying. No, wow.
Could not get away with that today.
No, not today.
No.
Yeah.
Let's see. Of course, The Wizard of Oz is one of the most highly acclaimed films of all time, but when the lion suit was auctioned off, it was only valued at several $1,000s. Whoever bought it made a nice investment at a later auction. It sold for an astounding $826,000.
Jeez. You just never know, if what's going to become a classic or not.
Yeah. Number 2, the Chewbacca costume wasn't exactly comfortable.
It was also made of lions.
Yeah. 2 actual lion skins.
Yeah.
The original Chewbacca costume was envisioned as a mix between a monkey, a dog, and a cat. And it was made from, real yak and rabbit hair, knitted on a base of mohair. It was extremely hot, which created an extraordinary burden for actor Peter Mayhew.
Can you imagine if these costumes were to get wet or having to deal with the elements and snow and other stuff, and it's just it just smells awful?
Yeah. Ugh. It smells like just wet dog. So I'd feel bad for Harrison Ford sitting next to him in the Millennium Falcon and
Chewie, take a bath. Oh, they'd probably have to also shampoo it and wash it, right? And air dry it.
I would think.
Right?
Take it to the cleaners. Number 3. Jennifer Lawrence's Mystique makeup is absolutely insane. In fact, at one point, it was most of the job. She said it used to take 8 hours, which is lovely. Lawrence said during one interview, now it only takes 3. For much of that time, Lawrence had to remain still. For parts of it, however, she could sit on a stationary bike, which at least provided some sort of distraction. By the way, the 3-hour time for the later movies wasn't the result of some incredible new makeup technology. Lawrence was simply being filmed from the neck up. Before you feel too sorry for her, consider that makeup artists decided on Mystique's special shade of blue by experimenting. They tried at least 9 other shades on other women who never ended up on screen.
Oh, man. They were the ones that were really blue.
Number 4. The original Alien costume looked completely different. For starters, it was translucent. However, director Ridley Scott didn't like the way that the creature looked when the costume was finished. He asked to have it painted black, since that would allow it to sink into the shadows. A decision that ended up driving the aesthetic of the classic film.
That is a pretty gnarly looking alien suit.
Yeah.
They kind of redefined what aliens were. Before we kind of think like Martians or like, I don't know.
Like the day the Earth stood still and it's like a giant robot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you've got these that just kind of like, they were a game changer during its time.
Number 5. Groucho Marx's mustache was an iconic part of his character. Modern viewers who haven't paid close attention might not know that Groucho wore a grease paint mustache, never a real one. Studio executive Walter Wenger, even told Groucho to lose the, quote, obvious fake. Groucho had apparently adopted the grease paint as part of a vaudeville routine. However, he seemed to like the absurdity of it, as the artificial substance did not match the color of his natural hair. It also allowed him to exaggerate certain gestures and facial expressions on camera.
That would be a lot easier to kind of like, do like these mustache poses and moves and stuff without actually having a huge one that's kind of like, I don't know, cumbersome in front of your face.
Now, I've always been kind of an old soul, so I've known the Marx Brothers for a long time.
Yeah.
And it probably wasn't until 10, maybe 12 years ago that I realized that mustache was fake. Yeah.
Wow.
Number 6. The Michael Myers mask from Halloween was a William Shatner mask. Necessity is the mother of invention, and the producers of Halloween decided to take a William Shatner mask and paint it white to create the gruesome look for the iconic villain. Where'd they get the mask? It had been made on Star Trek, Shatner said later. They would use the mask for appliances, so instead of my face, they would use the mask to make sure that everything fit. That's interesting. So it was an actual prop from Star Trek.
Yeah. So Shatner's face is actually... Oh, wow.
Number 7. E.T. was played by several actors. The lovable alien was mostly played by 2 people with dwarfism, Tamara D. Trudeau and Pat Billen. Their E.T. suits had slits at the top of the chest to allow them to see out. However, for close shots, director Steven Spielberg trusted the talents of 12-year-old Matthew Demerit.
I didn't know that. That's pretty trippy.
Now, you think that E.T., he almost looks animatronic.
Right? Except like Jim Henson-esque.
Yeah. Like a puppet, but no, apparently not. Number 8. The suit from Robocop nearly ruined the entire film. Part of the reason that Peter Weller won the part of Robocop was that he had a fairly small frame. Well, relative to the other frontrunners for the part, one of whom was Arnold Schwarzenegger. But the first version of the suit caused problems with production. For starters, it wasn't delivered on time, so Weller had to practice in a padded suit. When the real thing arrived, he quickly realized he was in over his head. The suit was large, heavy, and unwieldy. Temperatures were incredibly hot on set, and Weller was losing 3 pounds per day due to dehydration. He said, "It took me 3 hours to put on the inner suit, then another 7 hours to put on the outer suit." Weller told Ain't It Cool News, "I lost my mind. We shot one scene the first day, and I said, this is not going to work for me."
Yeah.
That night, Weller's agent convinced him to stay with the production. Eventually, the costume team worked out a system. Between takes, a member of the crew kept Weller as cool as possible by moving him to an air-conditioned area. That didn't quite make up for the overall poor suit design, and later versions of the suit had fans built in.
Dang.
Yeah.
I can't imagine 10 hours and then 3 hours for the other. I can't even imagine sitting still for that long.
Yeah, and then going on set and filming for who knows how long?
Yeah.
Per day?
Well, I mean, I imagine,
Sounds like
okay,
a
so a little
nightmare.
bit, you're going over lines, And then you're just kind of like sitting there and just watching movies or TV shows or something.
I don't know. I mean, you never really think about that.
Yeah.
You know, the people in those costumes, it's like they're in those costumes for 10, 11, 12 hours a day.
Right.
You know, it's not like they can easily just take them off and put them back on. No, once you're in there, you are in there.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. And a lot of the times, like, I've noticed they do try to find, like, the practical side to it and make things, like, lighter and heavier, but occasionally they can't. And they're kind of, like, limited with their resources because they want a certain look or they want it to look, you know, and that requires, like, extra added on weight.
Yeah.
If they want a metallic look, you know, you might have to have metal pieces,
yeah.
which is only going to weigh it more.
I mean, I know, like, Jim Carrey, when he played the Grinch, you know, he talked to I think it was like a Navy SEAL, ways to deal with torture.
Yeah.
So, you know, whether it's like pounding your leg or having like a worry stone or something that you would rub or something like that, because, you know, he was covered from head to toe. He had contacts in. He had, you know, stuff over his mouth and nose where it's hard to breathe.
They had to probably put in the contacts before they applied the other makeup.
Yeah.
And there's definitely layers to it.
Yeah, just it sounds like a fresh kind of hell.
Yeah.
Doing that.
But at the same time, I mean, does the money really?
Well, I was gonna say,
you know what
yeah.
I mean? Like, I'm just like, think of the money. Just
Yeah,
think of the
for me,
money.
it's like, think of that $20 million in my bank account. Just keep going, keep going. The original, number 9, the original Jabba the Hutt was played by a normal guy. In the original Star Wars, George Lucas wrote a scene with Jabba the Hutt confronting Han Solo. Eventually, this scene made it into the special edition re-release, but with a CGI Jabba in place of the original actor. Yeah, I've seen that scene. And it's on, like, I think it's on YouTube. You can go look at it. But it's, yeah, he's like a big old fat, short, portly dude. And he's covered in, like, furs and stuff. And, yeah.
Doesn't look as menacing, or it doesn't really fit the universe.
It does not. Number 10. For the People Eater, the Mad Max Fury Road crew went all out. According to Leslie Vanderwalt, who oversaw the film's hair and makeup design, the goal was to make the character as disgusting as possible, with one caveat. You couldn't go disgusting enough, and John Howard, who played the role, was completely up for it. She told the New York Times, but it had to start with a business suit, because at one time, that man had been a banker. He's really not so very different from various politicians and celebrities we read about, just depicted in a more depraved, post-apocalyptic way. As for the character's gas mask catheter, gross, Vanderwalt says she doesn't remember who came up with that idea. I think it was someone else's idea, she told the paper, because I hope I wouldn't have thought of that. The Fury Road crew designed every outlandish costume to look plausible. The character's clothes came from what would be available after a real apocalypse. In the film, Furiosa, Charlize Theron, wears iconic black face paint made to look like a mix of real-world components.
Like grease or something, oil.
We had to find a way to tie that makeup into the story. We thought these people had nothing but the materials around them, which would have been grease from the mechanical stuff they were building or clay from the ground. So there you go.
A catheter. Gas mask.
Yeah.
That's pretty gnarly. There is a lot, like, it's nice and it doesn't go unappreciated. Sometimes it goes unnoticed, but then when you're seeing the behind the scenes or you're reading these type of things, there's a lot of, like, thought and creativity that goes into this, you know, to make it feel like it would still exist in that world.
Yeah. And I know another movie where the actors were just awful, just tortured, were Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. Like, those costumes were almost unbearable. Because you had these tiny little slits you can look out of. Right. You couldn't breathe in those masks.
Trying to do lines.
Yeah, it was heavy. You know, that suit was soaking up all that sweat. And, yeah, you were, like, breathing in, like, carbon dioxide.
Gee,
Yeah, it was bad.
that doesn't sound like fun at all.
Yeah. All right. Let's take a break. And then when we come back, we got our geeky news of the weeky news. We'll be back right after this.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Are you feeling nostalgic about your music listening needs?
Do you like the tonal quality that only a record can provide?
Then go check out Lavender Vinyl, located at 123 25th Street, Ogden, Utah.
Yeah, go talk to Kylie or Blake. They have a large selection of new and used records. They will also buy your old records, maybe the ones that are just sitting up there in the attic, gathering dust. And if you can't find anything, they'll be more than happy to pre-order it for you. Now, you can always find them at lavendervinyl@gmail.com. You can also check out their website, lavendervinyl.com, or give them a call on the phone, like a normal person, at 385-240-0336.
Be sure to tell them that World War G sent you. Now back to the episode.
And we're back.
We most certainly are. So, something I'm so super stoked and excited about. Netflix is doing, let's see, rumor has it that Netflix is in the early stages of developing a series based on the Resident Evil game franchise. The series is going to stay true to the original games, and also that each season will focus solely on each game in the series. Season 1 begins with the events of either Resident Evil 0 or Resident Evil 1. It's possible that Season 1 will be extended to combine both stories into one, which I'd be perfectly fine with. I mean, I kind of wonder, they've done a good job so far of like tying the whole series together, and the problem that I ran into with the Resident Evil movies is that they just went on their own tangent and kind of made it up their own thing.
Yeah.
You know, just using the Resident Evil name, but made it their own. Which, I mean, I guess it's their interpretation, but it just kind of bugged me that they didn't really stay true to the games. So, if they're using a whole, like for one video game, it's nice to see that that'll cover a whole entire season. Right?
Right.
You know, you have enough time to kind of tell a full, decent story. But I don't know how long they'll actually make it. They could go like just a couple of episodes, kind of like what Sherlock Holmes did, or like Black Mirror. But who knows? Have you had a chance to play any of these games?
No.
No?
Nope.
What the heck, Troy? You're missing out.
Because
there are some of them that are run and gun, and you don't really have to like. I mean,
no,
a linear path.
Yeah, my only. I don't really have an excuse. I just haven't. I was gonna try to say, well, it was on different consoles and stuff I didn't have, but no, that's not true. I just didn't want to, I guess.
Yeah, to each their own. It's all good.
All right. So we had a trailer, kind of a teaser trailer drop this last week. Netflix's first Lost in Space trailer is more serious than we remember. Nearly 3 years ago, Netflix and Legendary TV joined forces for a modern reboot of Irwin Allen's Lost in Space. And now the departure date is almost upon us. Netflix has revealed that the 10-episode first season of Lost in Space will premiere on Friday, April 13th. The first teaser for the series has also been released, and it introduces the Robinson family as they prepare to board the Jupiter 2 for a voyage to their new colony in Alpha Centauri. Unfortunately for the Robinsons, they're on a one-way trip to danger.
Danger zone.
The teaser appears to be narrated by Molly Parker's Maureen Robinson, who has been re-envisioned as an aerospace engineer for the reboot. Her husband, John Robinson, Toby Stevens, also appears in the video alongside their 3 children, Judy, Taylor Russell, Penny, Mina Sunwall, and Will Maxwell Jenkins. However, the trailer doesn't show us Parker Posey's Dr. Smith, the woman who may be behind the catastrophic journey ahead. In the original series, Jonathan Harris's Dr. Zachary Smith was an enemy agent who sabotaged the Robinsons' trip and found himself trapped with them as they went wildly off course. The new Dr. Smith may prove to be equally treacherous and perhaps even more deadly.
Dun, dun, dun.
It appears that the new take on the series will completely abandon the campier aspects of the original. The story is set only 3 decades into our future as humanity attempts to flee Earth for a better home on a new world. The series' description implies that the Robinsons won't be the only family going on this adventure. And the closing seconds of the teaser also debuts the new voice of the robot as it provides its signature catchphrase, "Danger, Will Robinson."
See, now that I was just telling you before we even started airing that's the job that I want. I want to be paid millions just to say I am Groot or Danger, Will Robinson, because they're obviously gonna change the way your voice sounds. Yeah. But from the trailer, it looks pretty dang gnarly. I don't know if I saw. Okay, I showed you as well, but when they kind of show flashback to Will looking at this post-apocalyptic destroyed Earth, there's this red glint in his eyes.
Yeah.
I'm thinking he's an alien.
Or maybe he's the robot.
Ooh. Well, then why would he say danger to himself?
I don't know. Maybe he has multiple
he's an
personality.
AI. It does seem man, I don't know. What's his name? John Robinson, right? The dad?
Yeah. I closed out the thing, but yeah.
He's got some pretty good looking kids and family going with him. He's got a good group of people. Space gets lonely, Troy. Well, and some of them do look kind of adopted.
Yes, that's true. So that makes it okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Not blood, so.
Play
ball.
Space is thicker than blood.
That's right.
No, but I kind of wanted to see more of what the Earth looked like, how it was destroyed, and how this family got so fortunate to be the ones to go into space. Yeah. And that spaceship did look ginormous. It kind of looked like the Death Star. It was kind of circular looking.
It was pretty big, yeah.
What's the no? It looked exactly like not the Death Star. What's the thing from Disneyland?
Oh, the Epcot Center.
The Epcot Center, right? It looked like a giant Epcot Center.
Spaceship Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now, do you remember the Lost in Space movie that came out?
Unfortunately, I do.
I'm one of the only people I think that actually liked that movie.
It was okay. I thought it kind of got campy once they actually went back in there and he turned into that Doc turned into the huge creature.
Yeah. Yeah, the ending was kind of weird, but
a little lackluster.
I enjoyed it.
So, what direction would you like to see this series go? Because they want to do new things. Boldly go where nobody's gone before, kind of a deal.
I would imagine that that the first season will probably be them trying to go back to Earth. Something went wrong, as what happens in this series, and they get thrown off course. And so I think the first season is probably going to be them trying to get back to Earth and figuring out what happened and figuring out that it was this, Dr. Smith that did it and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then I think the second season,
you're already thinking it's going to get another season.
Yeah.
For sure.
If it were me, the second season would be them going to different planets.
Okay.
Well,
then that becomes more Star Trek than Lost in Space, right?
True. But, I don't know. I mean, unless you really want to focus on the family drama and what's happening on the spaceship, I don't know what other direction you could go.
That's kind of the problem that they ran into with seeing the movie Thor. We were talking about how there's this whole other planet that we could explore. We're stuck here on Earth, and it's kind of boring with all this.
Exactly.
The other thing that I kind of hope that I don't know, because we're already familiar with the story and what happens. I mean, obviously they're going to change it up and make it their own, but I would worry that it would have the same effect that it did Fear the Walking Dead had on me. that I already knew that everybody got turned into zombies, and they spent so much of the first season built like, oh no, what's going on? We don't know what's going on. It's like, no, we do. As the viewers, we know what's going on. There's zombies. Like, that's...
Right.
You know? And they spent so much time, like, having these people try to figure it out that it just kind of, like, lost me. So I would hate that this series does kind of the same thing, that it's just, like, they take so long figuring out what's going on when the viewers already know.
Right. Yeah, that is the inherent problem with something like this, because you know what's going to happen. You know who the saboteur is going to be, and so you're just kind of waiting for that to get done and over with before they move on to the actual story.
So as long as they do what, like, a lot of great movies have done, that even though we're familiar with, I mean, you know, especially those movies that have, like, tragedies or some sort of event that we know what happens.
Yeah.
You know, as long as they focus kind of on different things, it won't be so painstaking to finally get to that point where they know who done it.
Right.
So, I don't know.
Unless you're Pearl Harbor, and that's a movie and a teaching of what not to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. No, one that did, like, really good, an excellent job with that is Deepwater Horizon. I thought that one was pretty well done. That they did, I mean, they had, like, some human like, you knew that they were going to their impending doom, and then the build up to it wasn't so bad that you are just like, all right, hurry up, blow up, like something happened.
Or just recently, The Darkest Hour. You know, talking about, you know, Winston Churchill and World War II. Like, you know what's going to happen.
Right.
Like, there's no surprise there, but the way they do it and build suspense, it's really interesting.
So how do you, like, translate that from movie? Because that's only, like, what, 2 hours compared to a TV show that you have to go through episodes, you know?
I think with something like that, you shake it up. Maybe you don't make Dr. Smith the saboteur. Maybe you do something that nobody sees coming. You know, you make somebody who's always been a good guy a bad guy, or make somebody who's always been a bad guy a good guy, you know, and something like that. Okay.
And that he's, or perhaps like he's actually trying to help.
Yeah.
You know, he's trying to, like, correct what went wrong. You know, when we're typically used to him being the villain and just kind of lurking and looming off in the distance, you know, kind of doing his own thing. You know?
And then you could have that person be the bad guy later.
Yeah.
But at first, you know, you start to like the person, kind of get a relationship with that person going, and then they sabotage. Then it makes much more of an impact.
Yeah, because you've already become invested in this character.
Yeah.
You, like, care about them, and then you're like, oh, I can see their demise and how they actually went full circle, or how they went to the dark side.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
So, well, cool. One of the other things I'm really looking forward to, it actually airs again tonight. So The Walking Dead showrunner Scott G. Gimling has promised that the impending death of Carl Grimes will have huge impacts on the show moving forward. The Walking Dead's all-out war arc is set to continue soon. Well, tonight, actually. And the first order of business will surely be to pick up from the huge cliffhanger ending mid-season finale with Carl revealing to his father and Michonne that he was suffering from a grimly zombie bite. The revelation was arguably the most shocking element of Season 8. Aside from everyone apparently having the worst aim since Stormtroopers, like, which is actually pretty dang accurate, because, like, nobody was getting shot, bullets are flying left and right, and none of these main characters are getting hit.
Yeah.
You're like, okay. As Carl has been a mainstay on The Walking Dead since the series began. Furthermore, creator Robert Kirkman has labeled Carl his favorite character, and among all the tragedy, death, struggle through the forest, Carl has perhaps been The Walking Dead's single biggest ray of hope, often acting as the show's moral compass. He went on to say, we were confident in the story, but it was very difficult to face. It was just hard, like, are we going to do this, or will there be another way? Looking at it where the show is going and where it wants the story to go, Carl is trying to change the world, even as he's leaving it, and that has an incredible amount of impact on everything going forward. I like, we talked about this when we talked about The Walking Dead before, that the story seems to be focused around Carl, and Carl is the eventual leader. You know, how he gets shaped and molded to become the leader.
Yeah.
But now he's been bitten.
Yeah, we were wrong about that one.
Yeah. I mean, it'll be kind of interesting, and I don't know what direction. Is this going to be the thing that's going to actually snap for Rick Grimes? You know, he's got Michonne, which is a forced love interest, and he's got his little daughter, which you haven't really hardly ever seen. Which
is also a forced love interest.
Yeah. Because he's like this complete badass, and then he's like, oh, I've got a soft side, to me. But I don't know what direction they'll go, or are they building it up to conclude the series? You know what I mean? Like somehow they pull a Last of Us, and like Ellie, he's the cure.
Right.
Right?
That's interesting because, I mean, how long does it usually take for somebody to turn after they've been bitten?
Not very long. They've done it like with a couple other people, like an episode.
Yeah. But it seems like Carl's really getting drug out here. So maybe, I don't know, maybe that's the way they'll go.
Perhaps there's like, wait, why is he not turning? You know? Or he gets zombie powers.
Zombie powers.
He'll walk faster than a snail. Yeah. More powerful than, like, you know.
He'll walk slower than normal.
He's got no, like, cool powers with zombie, like being bit by a zombie. You know, like you get Spider-Man bit by a spider.
No upper body strength.
He, like, goes to lift something up and it just, like, breaks a limb.
Yeah. He has the power of decay.
Like, Carl, have you taken a bath today? Carl!
Take a bath, Carl!
If they do decide to kill him off, I think that would definitely throw a lot of fans. There would be petitions, uprisings in the streets, you know, hordes and hordes of people attacking the creators.
I don't know, but it seems like they keep saying, like, no, he's gonna die.
Yeah, even they had I forget what's his name? Lincoln.
Andrew Lincoln.
Andrew Lincoln. He even did kind of a tribute, and he was singing like a song to Carl, and I've seen like other videos and stuff on it, that it sounded like he's done for.
Unless all this is just kind of a red herring, and they're just throwing you off.
Yeah. I guess we'll see tonight.
Yeah. Actually, thinking about it, I hope they don't do that Carl is the cure thing, because that's a bit of a...
That's too easy.
Bit of a cop-out. Yeah, it's too easy.
Yeah. It was all just a dream.
Yeah.
You know? We'll see.
It's all in the mind of an autistic child looking in a snow globe. All right. So I grabbed this story because we don't talk about comics a lot.
Enough. As much as we should.
Yeah, as much as we should. We tend to skew more towards like movies and TV, but I found this one. Batwoman's murder ends the Batman family for good? ? Batwoman crossed the line when she killed Clayface, but she may have broken up the Batman family too. To casual fans, her actions might seem like an understandable twist. Gotham City's villains push the envelope on a daily basis, most without Clayface's shape-shifting abilities. And while Batman's no-kill policy is one of his best-known defining characteristics, it isn't one that Batwoman embraced on the same level. But, as fans of Detective Comics know, the Clayface of DC's Rebirth universe was actually a hero. And, in taking his life, the team may die along with him. In Batwoman's defense, The team has been struggling in the recent months of DC Comics. Even before Clayface fell victim to villainous schemes to turn him back into a threat, the most reliable members of Batman's team were wavering. Tim Drake met his future self, a brand new Azrael was tortured in his own way, and Cassandra Cain's journey back to healthy socializing has been painful every step. With a single pull of the trigger, Batwoman has forced Batman into action. Protect his family, or what remains of it anyway. And say goodbye to the other Bat heroes who take Batwoman's side.
This could cause a divide.
Yeah. The shot was actually fired in Detective Comics 973 when Clayface, aka Basil Karlo, has his sanity shaken and his body overloaded with clay. The result is a skyscraper-sized Clayface kaiju. Thanks to that, actually seems awesome. I want to go check that out.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks to the Batman team's new ally, Dr. Victoria October, a temporary cure is created. One that may not solve Basil's dilemma permanently, but calm him down into his human form. The trick then becomes Basil's self-control. He must return to full size, but Cassandra Cain believes Basil can stay in control when he does. Sadly, her trust and belief in Clayface to be good aren't enough to stop Batwoman's bullets. Deciding she must do what's necessary, and seeing no chance for Basil to be anything but a threat, she fires one round straight through his brain. Detective Comics number 974 confirms Clayface is dead, and within seconds, the entire Batman team descends on the killer in their midst.
At least from the pictures here, it looks like she's kind of surprised, like somebody else shot the shot.
Yeah.
Right? Not her.
Yeah.
Like somebody from the grassy knoll, or it doesn't look like it was her. Because it was like at a different angle, right?
I don't want to get all JFK about this, but I mean, maybe we'll find out that it wasn't her, but the story seems to say that it was.
Right.
I don't know. Where's the Zapruder film? You know, where's the Jim Gordon tape?
Yeah. They're in the streets. There's definitely cameras all around.
Look at Clayface's head. It goes back and to the left. Back and to the left.
Exactly. Well, okay, if it is true that she is the killer, Batman has always been, no, you put them in prison and then they escape. Yeah. You know, he doesn't kill them. So with her killing them, it's understandable, but I think they're going to have to pick sides.
I think so too. I think it's going to split the family down the middle, as it were. I mean, this picture here shows, you know, that there is a divide, that Batman and Spoiler and Red Robin on this side, and then Batwoman and Azrael and whoever that is on the other side. So, yeah.
That would be kind of interesting, because then the Bat family is going to be fighting each other. That would make for some epic comics. I think they did a smart move here.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe I should get back into it. I haven't really been reading comics all that much lately. I don't know, there hasn't been anything that's really caught my eye.
Really? See, I'm going back and reading like a ton of different like graphic novels. One I was telling you about, A Motor Girl, which is fantastic, by Terry Moore.
Yeah.
It's this former Marine that she kind of reminds me, like, she's just like this badass that works on this old salvage yard kind of near Roswell, Area 51, and certain things are going down that are kind of unexplainable, but she's in the midst of it all, and without giving too much away, like, it is great, but it's a complete series. There's part 1 and part 2, and it's kind of tells the whole story in a nutshell. But that's part of it. You know how, like, I told you that I was reading the 50, or trying to read a comic, or like a book a week. Yeah. Occasionally, when it's like a slower week, I'll just grab like a comic book or a graphic novel and like burn through one of those, and I'm like, that kind of counts.
Hey, It counts.
Exactly.
All right? It counts. Have you read some of those, like, 60s, 70s comics?
Mm-hmm.
They are mostly text.
Oh, they are. In a nutshell. There is very little action and more dialogue. It's like Star Trek.
Exactly.
As Troy jumps across the table to like try to kill me.
Yeah, I agree. Most of it was there's a lot of dialogue, not a lot of action.
Mm-hmm.
In a lot of those Star Trek series. Oh, by the way, I forgot to get you the 13 episodes of Star Trek I wanted to watch.
Yes. Oh, for sure. So then you'll watch like Firefly.
Yeah.
We can talk about it because it's amazing. So.
Okay.
Speaking of unexplainable things and amazing things, when a fisherman named Alexia pulls out 2 pike out of a river in Russia, he was surprised to find that the fish had horns growing on their heads. Yes, that's right. There are dragons among us, Troy.
Dun, dun, dun.
Right? He preserved the heads of the fish, but still had no answer as to what made them that way. In the article down below, they do have a picture of what a pike normally is supposed to look like, and they're a pretty gnarly fish. They've got, it looks like a barracuda meets a trout that's like 5 times bigger than normal.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it looks pretty gnarly, but to have like it goes on to say, the larger fish, pictured above, weighing 26 pounds, has 2 horns, and the smaller fish, weighing 11 pounds, has 4 horns.
That is a freaky looking thing.
It's pretty gnarly. Like, Alex, he ate both of them, despite warnings.
Ate both of them?
That doing as it was risky. He experienced no illness or side effects. But he saved the fish's heads.
Well, hey, this fish looks kind of weird.
Oh, I'm gonna eat it anyway.
Cook it up.
Get her done. Right? But it's probably because they're starving in Russia, you know. Yeah. So beggars can't be choosers.
Oh, it's in Russia? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
Makes a little bit more
Get her done, comrade.
Da. Invece ti case che andiamo devo I just think that there are still things that it's crazy. You know, we're so concerned with what's out there in space, yet we've got so many crazy, unexplainable things going on here in Earth, especially with the ocean.
I've said many times that there's a giant creature in the ocean that we have not found yet that is just laying in wait, and eventually it's going to come out and destroy us all.
Cthulhu-esque creature? Yeah.
90% of the ocean has not been explored.
That's a lot of water. And when the Earth is 75% water?
Yes.
Yeah. And we've not we just stayed at the nice little beaches and stuff. Huh.
And so it's only been the last few years that all of a sudden we've been finding like these strange creatures and, you know, like these giant 2-story fish and stuff. And,
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There
are things in the ocean that will kill us.
Troy, mark my word. This is like our prediction for the future.
I'm calling it now. When the apocalypse happens, and
not if, when. Yeah.
And people find these recordings, and somehow they happen to go through all 166 episodes.
Well, because they'll have a lot of time on their hands.
That's true.
You know, so.
And say, hey, see, these guys called it. Let's build monuments to these guys. They were prophets.
I like this. And then what will happen eventually, because they'll obviously fix the problem and create Waterworld worlds,
right?
You know, world, and then we'll have statues made to us, and then we'll become superheroes. We'll become comic book superheroes.
I like it.
Right? You know, like the Greek gods of mythology and stuff before us.
It's the only way I'm going to get into comic books is if it's post-apocalyptic and I made a prediction about how the end of the world will happen.
Yes. It's going to happen. Creatures are in the water, you know, are going to kill us all.
And if you're listening to this 100, 200 years in the future and it happened, we told you so. Nobody listened to us.
Neener, we told you so.
Doesn't matter to us. We're long dead at this point.
Yeah, right. They're going to preserve our brains somehow, put it on ice, and then we'll be robots.
That'll hook us up to like a little computer, and they'll have like other predictions come out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like the ENIAC kind of a deal.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and you see what other predictions they have. I want a sandwich. That's what mine will say.
Like, wow, this is not all that.
Pour Pepsi into this tank.
They like take all this money and all this technology to try to to try to get something like prophetic out of, It's like, pour Pepsi into this tank now.
Is there still pizza?
I like it.
All right. So a few episodes back, talked about how excited I was that the Ninja Turtles were coming to Injustice 2.
Yeah, and it's finally happened.
It's finally happened.
Yeah.
I bought and downloaded the fighter pack quite a while ago, just waiting for them to be released. And they finally were a few weeks ago, like 2 or so weeks ago. And I have been on cloud 9 ever since.
Yeah.
This is all I've ever wanted in the world. I have finally been able to have my fight on a video game of Donatello versus Superman.
Who ended up winning?
Donatello.
Yeah, okay, just making sure.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see where your loyalties lie here, Troy.
Well, because in Injustice, Superman is the villain. So, But anyway.
There's that.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I found out that that's kind of the key to Injustice is getting the other characters that they release. Like, I also bought Hellboy.
Okay.
He's a lot of fun, too.
Is he kind of more just a gunslinger,
Kinda.
heavy hitter?
Yeah, I mean, he's a heavy hitter for sure. But a lot of his moves have to do with, like, his gun and stuff like that. So, yeah, the Ninja Turtles, it's interesting because there aren't... I mean, okay. So the way that you pick which Ninja Turtle you want is you have to go into them and change the weapon. Okay. So it's not like there are, you can go and pick Donatello or Leonardo or Raphael. You got to pick the Ninja Turtle and then pick the weapon you want, and that'll change it. So what's fun about it is all 4 of them have very different fighting styles.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, and very different, moves and different abilities, and it's really cool. Like Leonardo, he fights mostly with his sword, so he's not really like a range fighter, but not really like a close-up brawler either.
Okay.
He's more kind of like a...
In between.
In between, yeah. Whereas Raphael and Michelangelo, they're like really close range.
Oh, yeah.
Because of their weapons. And Michelangelo has a lot of speed because of the nunchucks.
Do they also spin on their shells?
They do.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty sick. And like I imagine like Leonardo probably having like lots of flips.
Yeah. Leonardo
with
definitely has
sword spinning kind of a thing.
And he has like most of like the ninja type moves and stuff like that.
Okay.
And then you have Donatello who has his bow staff. Like he's got the reach.
Yeah.
Like that's his thing. You can keep your enemy at a distance with him.
Yeah.
Plus he has like gadgets and stuff that he uses.
Does he pole vault off of his staff at all? That'd be kind of a cool.
So.
You know what I mean? Like hits the ground, flips up into the air, kind of like spins, cork spins up into the air, and then comes down and like beats people down. I don't know.
I think there is a combo where you can do that, and he does use his bow as leverage.
Okay.
I think.
Or launching them towards his enemies.
Yeah. But believe it or not, I haven't used Donatello all that much.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it because you're using Raphael?
Yes.
Really? Yeah.
It's mostly Raphael and Michelangelo. Because the way I fight in that game, the way I play, their skill level works best for me.
Okay.
Those two. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. There's a couple homages to, Ninja Turtles history. Like their victory that they do. They have the pizza, right? And they have a slice and they throw the pizza at the camera.
Yeah.
Like the old cartoon. Occasionally, if they get beaten, you know how on early Ninja Turtles video games, when they get beaten, they like flash and stars would go around their head. They do that.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
They even have like the sound effect. It's so cool.
Do you get to see Master Splinter at all?
No, no Splinter. But occasionally they'll do have a rat that runs in and they'll like bow to the rat and the rat will run out. But that's as close as you get.
Okay.
But yeah, and they come in when they start the game, they're like wearing the trench coat and the hat.
Oh, that's great.
Classic Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Kind of staying in disguise.
Yeah. But it's a lot of fun. It definitely gave that game kind of a boost. Because, I mean, be honest, I hadn't played that game in a while.
Right.
So when that came out, I've started playing again and getting back into it. And yeah. So if you're a fan of Ninja Turtles, definitely get it because there are so many like little Easter eggs and a lot of stuff that you'll really like if you're a Ninja Turtles fan.
Do they have their own separate like story that they have to go through, like a story arc?
You can put them in. I mean, they're not part of the main like campaign.
Yeah.
But for every character, you can do like a Mortal Kombat style battle that eventually gets you to the very top. Once you defeat it, then it shows like a cutscene and gets to the story. But I think all the Ninja Turtles are the same. Okay. Because they all have all four of them talking in this cutscene, so I'm pretty sure
it's going to be the same. But
it's all the same.
Now you have to kind of see, if you beat them with another character all the way.
Yeah. But yeah, it's been fun. Especially the interactions that they have at the beginning. So you get a Ninja Turtle interacting with like Batman and Superman and, Atrocitus and Green Lantern and Supergirl and stuff like that. And each one has a different interaction with all these characters, and it's pretty cool.
That is pretty awesome.
Okay, so let's take another break. And then we come back. We got some movies we're going to talk about, including, but not limited to, Black Panther.
Dun, dun, dun.
So we'll be back right after this.
After these messages, we'll be right back. Yeah.
On the historic streets of Ogden, there are two kinds of people, readers and non-readers. Here's where you can find their stories.
Booked on 25th Street, located at 147 Historic 25th Street, Ogden, Utah, 84401.
Yeah, stop by and say hi to our friend Marcy. You can pick up a new or used book, or you can sell your own used books.
That's right, you can get 10% store credit on what they can sell the book for.
Stop in and say hi, or call them at 801-529-7720. You can find them on Facebook at facebook.com/bookedon25th, or you can email them at marcy@bookedon25th.com, or visit their website, bookedon25th.com.
Be sure to tell them that World War G sent you. Now back to the episode.
And we're back. All right. So I saw last Friday, 15th. I saw 3 movies that day.
In one day.
In one day. That's not something I recommend.
Yeah.
It's not easy. Especially if the last one you see is a boring Oscar bait movie.
Oh, jeez.
Which is what happens.
That's why I was telling you. I'm like, save one of the other two, because you said well, I guess you'll get to what you saw. But yeah, save like Black Panther to the end.
Yeah, yeah.
So you have something to look forward to.
So I saw Black Panther, Den of Thieves, and Phantom Thread in that order. So
you'll review them just the opposite.
From yeah. So the worst one, Phantom Thread. Now, this one is up for Best Picture in the Academy Awards.
Which is just around the corner.
Yes, next Sunday. And I can understand why, because it is a period piece. It has Daniel Day-Lewis. It's about a eccentric tailor in London. I mean, it has all the tropes of an Oscar movie.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. It is so boring.
It's just kind of by the numbers.
Yeah, I dozed off twice. I fell asleep twice. Now, it was coming off of having just seen 2 other movies before that, but you get my point.
Yeah. I'm starting to doze off just thinking about this movie.
Yeah. Yeah, and so this movie stars Daniel Day-Lewis as this tailor, Woodcock, which I was not mature enough to not laugh at every time they said his name. His name was Mr. Woodcock. And...
So do you think you just found your porn name? You know, we already know that mine's Juicy Drop.
I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
So, okay, I had a brain fart there for a second. So yeah, he plays this eccentric tailor that is, you know, very much a perfectionist. He likes things done a certain way. You know, he takes his breakfast at a certain time. He has the same thing. He, you know, every minute of his day is planned out. Then he ends up going to he takes a drive to the country, ends up meeting this waitress who, they end up kind of in a relationship, even though he's a terrible person, but she ends up still staying with him, which really bothered me. He treated her really poorly, like, throughout the whole movie. Like, there's no redeeming quality to this guy, ever. And yeah, it's just kind of their story of how their relationship kind of gets formed and how, you know, he tries to reconcile the relationship with the work and one can't really affect the other and blah, 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 blah. And we've seen it all before. So, out of 5...
Woodcocks?
Sure. Sure. I would give it, man, you know, I gotta take into account that I fell asleep twice.
So you probably missed the 2 best parts of the movie.
So I'm probably at like a 1.
Oh, 1 Woodcock?
Yeah. It's like if you're a fan of like film, you might like it. If you're like a film major or something.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of those movies I'm sure they'll talk about in film classes and that sort of thing. But for your average Joe moviegoer, this is going to be a struggle to get through.
We noted.
Yeah. So there's that one. Next one, Den of Thieves. This stars Gerard Butler as a kind of, they call him a gangster cop. Because he's kind of a cop on the edge, you know, doesn't play by the rules. And this is pretty much Fast and the Furious without the ridiculousness.
Okay. I've heard it was a little bit better than that whole franchise, and they actually have a better story.
Yeah. So basically the story is these thieves are going to try and rob the Federal Reserve, which is the one bank that has never been robbed, and they're going to rob it. So you get a little bit of like Ocean's 11 in there, type of planning and that sort of thing.
The cops, I guess, is going to give too much if you ask if the cops are on the inside or...
No.
Okay.
They're not.
They really try to stop them. They just don't play by the rules to stop them.
Right. And so it's up to Gerard Butler and his gang to, like you said, to stop these guys. Because they are apparently some of the best in the world. You know, they've pulled off all these jobs that they've never been caught and, you know, that sort of thing.
Do they actually seem like plausible people that could have accomplished all of these different jobs?
Not really.
You know what I mean? Like, where you're just like, okay, that guy, like, seems like he knows what he's doing.
Because most of these guys were, like, convicts and stuff, and
so
they don't...
more like Logan Lucky?
Yeah, kind of. They don't really seem like the type of guys that... Yeah, the casting is off. The casting is really off on this. Because you don't buy these guys as like these technical geniuses and stuff like that. You just don't. So there was some good action in this, and that's pretty much all it has going for it.
Okay.
It's very much an action movie. It's very much like a guy's movie.
You were saying that they had like a weight bench in their office?
Yeah, they had a weight bench in the police office, their police office.
Like a punching bag.
Freaking ridiculous. Yeah.
Because, you know, when you're trying to solve a case, you're just like, I need to go pump some iron.
Yep.
Yeah.
That'll help me think.
Get the muscle juices flowing.
So, yeah, I mean, if you want to go with like a couple of your friends and just see a dumb action movie, then yeah, go see this one.
Okay.
An action movie that is, like I said, an action movie grounded in realism. Let me put it that way.
Okay.
Anyway.
Well, I was hoping at least it looked a little bit more like Night Watch or one of those kind of movies, but I guess not so much.
Not so much. Yeah, it's a pretty by the numbers action film. So out of 5, I don't even know. Out of 5 Gerard Butlers, I guess. Which, by the way, he's not looking well nowadays.
Yeah,
he's really showing his age. All that drinking and smoking has caught up to him. But out of 5, I would give it 1.5.
Okay.
You know.
Now, one that we've both seen.
Yes, Black Panther.
There was a lot of hype around. And
a lot of hype.
Yeah.
Yes. But here's a question: does it live up to the hype?
That's a very good question. For me personally, well, let's go over the story first.
Yes.
And we'll get into it.
So, Black Panther takes place shortly after Captain America's Civil War, where we find Black Panther, after the death of his father in Civil War, now has to take the mantle as King T'Challa.
But there's kind of an ordeal, or there's kind of a process and a rite of passage to do so.
Yep.
You know, you're set in this straight out of Game of Thrones scene where you're set in the middle of this area where any other of the tribes, they can put forth their best fighter and challenge you for the throne.
Yeah, and what I didn't realize is that the Black Panther power could be taken away and then given back to you.
I didn't realize that either.
That was kind of odd to me. But a plot's got a plot, you know. So he's struggling with taking control and not knowing if he can do it, and now there's this new threat, a guy by the name of Killmonger, who is, I don't want to give too much away, but he's angry at Wakanda for reasons, and he wants revenge.
Yeah. Because that was Michael B. Jordan wanted to be in a decent Marvel movie.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, he's trying to put I don't know what is the name, Fantastic Four in the past,
and behind him. Yeah, it's kind of funny because now both Human Torches have kind of redeemed themselves in this Marvel universe. It's kind of funny. So yeah, okay. So that's without giving too much away. That's pretty much the plot. So let's get into it here. So does it live up, according to you? Now I'll give my take. Does it live up to the hype, do you think?
Here's some clickbait for us. Is Marvel's future black?
Oh.
Question mark?
Oh.
I've had time to think about these things, Troy. Yeah. For me personally, I've come to expect a lot out of a Marvel movie.
Yes.
And especially when it comes to, like, its action fights. You know, story, it's a little forgivable because, you know, you can put that aside a little bit. I did think that so I thought the fight scenes were kind of lackluster. Even the big final fight scene that they had, even watching it again, I was still just like, hold on a second. Like, how does that... I don't know. It was kind of set in a dark setting already, and you couldn't really like see much.
It was tough to see what was going on.
Mm-hmm, yeah. Exactly. And the other one, even like the car chase, I mean, I thought that was pretty cool, like that he was involved with it, but I don't know, it was a little lackluster for me personally, when I've come to expect like something larger than life. Right.
And I feel pretty much the same way. I saw early reviews that were saying that this was the best Marvel movie so far, and it was
sitting at like 97 on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm like, oh geez, okay.
And after I saw it, like, yeah, it's good. I enjoyed it. Is it the best? No. It's not.
It's really not.
I would put it in the same level as, like, say, Doctor Strange or Ant-Man. It's a good story with interesting characters.
Right. I thought that, speaking of the characters, the cast was, like, spot on. Oh, yeah. I thought they did, like, a great job with that. And even the costume design, that could seriously be up for an award, because it was pretty cool. It looked very African-esque, and there was bright and lively colors, but it didn't seem out of place. Yeah. Even when everybody's like up on the wall, like, ceremonies.
If that movie does not get nominated for next year's Oscars for costume design, that's going to be a crime, because it's awesome. And like you said, the cast, it's probably one of the best well acted movies, Marvel movies out there.
For sure. Then definitely.
Now, as far as I go, I had to keep reminding myself that this was, in fact, a Marvel movie. Because it didn't really feel like one.
No, it didn't. It had a different feel to it.
Because, I mean, the whole thing, most of it was set in Wakanda, in Africa. And so, you could have taken the Black Panther suit out of it completely, and you wouldn't have really missed much.
Right.
Honestly. And so, it was hard to keep that mindset that, this is in the Marvel universe.
I was just thinking about that. Forrest Whitaker, did a really great job. I thought it was kind of funny that, when I saw, what's the actress's name, that plays Michonne?
Oh, yeah, I can't remember her name, but yeah.
Yeah, she was there, as well as the guy from Get Out. That's all I constantly saw. What's his name? Daniel Kaluuya?
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. I thought that was kind of funny, and it's like, oh, Get Out. That's all I could see. The other thing that I might have had just a little, I don't know, it reminded me a little bit, to a lesser degree, of Black Lightning with the forced agenda. Like that very last scene where he's just like, I'd rather jump off the ship or die. That sunset scene.
Right.
Because they knew it was better, than to be kept in captivity or slavery or whatever. You know what it was. I'm like, okay, I got it.
Yeah.
I mean,
but he was really the only one that really made those jumps and those leaps. It seemed like everyone else in Wakanda have moved past that.
They were more evolved.
Yeah, they were above
literally.
That.
No, seriously, because the whole culture is leaps and bounds above everybody else in the world. Technology wise.
Yeah.
But
then his point, Michael B. Jordan's point was, well, why you guys get to be all high and mighty when there's black kids where I grew up in the streets, and so that was his part of his deal.
And he seemed like he was the only one that was still stuck, more so on race. These guys, like you said, had since moved past it, which I did think was kind of cool that they eventually, they drug it out a little bit longer, but I did like how they started, they started a foundation and started, giving back, and it reminded me a lot of that Iron Man scene. Well, I really thought that he was just going to come out and say I am Black Panther, right there, when he's standing before everybody. I really thought that he was going to do that, and I'm like, man, this is straight out of Iron Man, where I am Iron Man, but then they're kind of doing something similar what Tony Stark did, where he starts giving to everybody else this, his technology, his advances, his money.
Yeah.
So I did like that.
The one thing that wasn't too crazy about and going back to the final scene or final fight, and you see a little bit of it in the trailer, is this whole Marvel thing of the character has to kind of fight their evil doppelganger, basically. Mm-hmm. I mean, Iron Man did it. Ant-Man did it. You know, we're basically the same guy with the same powers and maybe even a little better powers, you know.
Because then you still think, oh no, they're not going to make it. They're not going to survive.
Yeah.
And they have to overcome it by like some other means.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, and I think Marvel is starting to rely on that just a little bit more than they should.
Well, okay, we are coming to the end with Thanos, where he's going to... they're going to rely on that, but it's going to be like a team effort in order to take down this guy. You know, their powers combined kind of a deal is going to be able to overcome Thanos.
Captain Planet's going to be in this?
Yeah, pretty much.
He might as well be at this point.
They've got every other superhero, you know. But you know what I mean. Like it's gonna take like in previous battles a team effort, because not one of them. You know, Hulk might have a decent chance for a little bit, but the rest of them, they don't really have a chance at all of beating him.
No, I don't think so.
But to Black Panther. Other than that, no. Like it was a pretty dang solid movie.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
And look, we're not saying it's a bad movie. It's not.
No,
it's a really good movie.
It is.
It is one of Marvel's best.
Right.
The best, no, but one of the best. I would give it that.
Where were you putting it as far as like Marvel movies? Top 5? Top 10? They've only had about that many.
Well, this is the 18th one.
Yeah.
So I would say, yeah, I'd put it in the top 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
How does it go? I mean, you personally, I know we've talked about this before. I'm still, like, one of my favorites of all time is, like, Avengers. That one.
Yes, that is my favorite Marvel movie, is the Avengers.
For myself, I've got Captain America, Winter Soldier. I also did, love Civil War, and... trying to think, it's so difficult because there's so many of them, and they're, you know what I mean? But yeah, I'd probably say top 5.
See, for me, it's pretty much the same. It's Avengers, Winter Soldier,
right?
Civil War,
yeah,
and then number 4, probably Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay,
because how different that one was. Mm-hmm. And how enduring those characters have been. And then probably number 5 would be Black Panther at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's right in that whole realm of right in the mix. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of funny because you've got I guess 7 through, I guess, let's see, 6 through 18 are pretty much right there. In the mix, you know, there's not really two. I mean, okay, Iron Man 3, was kind of okay. Yeah. There's that one, and perhaps Hulk and Thor that are kind of a little bit under those ones. Yeah, but the other ones 7 through 15
they're
are right there,
neck and neck. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. All right, and again, another reason I put Black Panther up there is because they fleshed out that world. I mean,
they really did.
Every corner of Wakanda was thought out, was shown beautifully. Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, they created
a world inside of a world.
Yeah, as much as Guardians of the Galaxy created that whole world and everything, this did the same with Wakanda as far as populating it with people and you know the buildings and the ships and I mean the scenery told a story.
It really did. Yeah. The one question I was going to ask you about it's difficult because I want to spoil something.
Right.
But, you've got the other tribe leader that when Black Panther is lying in the snow. Mm-hmm. Why didn't you just kill him? Why did he save him? And why didn't he just take the women? You know, because they're more guerrilla. Or what were they?
that had something to do with gorillas, yeah.
Right? Because they're always like, hoo,
Yeah.
like they're cheering.
His honor wouldn't let him do it.
Yeah.
I mean, he lost the battle at the very beginning.
Okay. Because I'm like, look, you just take that flower for yourself, you know, along with the mother and wife and everybody else's flower.
But yeah, I think it was an honor thing. He didn't want to. There would be no honor in killing him while he was passed out, unconscious in the snow.
Did you like to see that they had the Hobbit and Gollum in this movie?
That was fun. Yeah. And yeah, Martin Freeman and Andy Serkis, I mean, in a cast that's already with acting heavyweights, I mean, those two just crush it. I mean, just own their parts.
Oh, for sure.
And it's so much fun to watch those two.
I think, okay, I had somebody in the theater when they were before the other like leader and his honor and whatnot, you know, when they were before him, and he's just like, "You shall not speak," and like somebody in the theater was just like, "What is that? Because he's white?" Like, so that's what they said. They yelled out. I'm like, "Oh, geez, guys!" Like, cause we ended up going like the second night it was out, and or so, for that first week, but
yeah. So out of what do you want to give it? Out of 5,
Black Panthers. What's the?
Might as
I'm thinking
well.
the stone. What's the stone? That's what I was going to ask, but I couldn't even think of what it was called.
The stone?
Hmm. That they use to power everything. That is built upon.
Vibranium.
Thank you.
Yeah. I would give it.
I'm saying a solid 3 and a half.
I'm going back and forth between 3.5 and 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm kind of that 3 and a half. Probably 3.5.
Yeah.
You know?
All right. Well, there you go. Definitely go see Black Panther if you haven't. It's a lot of fun. I also noticed that the end credit scenes, like before with the early Marvel movies, they were kind of setting up the next movie.
Mm-hmm.
These newer ones are not really doing that.
They're not tying the world quite together. No. They're just kind of making it their own. And by the way, you know.
I mean, it's like Thor Ragnarok's very end credit scene with Jeff Goldblum.
Mm-hmm.
That really didn't have anything to do with like the next movie coming. It was just kind of a funny little scene.
And this one they do have 2. So
they do.
Stay for that. Yeah. Like you've come to already know.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. It never ceases to amaze me.
All the people that leave.
All the people that leave. Like there are 3 groups that leave. I've noticed since I've been working this movie. The first one is right after the movie ends and the credits start rolling. They're the really dumb ones. And then the second group leaves right after the first credit scene.
Yeah.
They leave, so they're kind of dumb.
Yeah.
Then there's the third group that waits through the whole end credits, then leaves after that. But
there you have it. That's me in a nutshell.
Yeah. So be the smart ones. Don't be the dumb ones.
That's
Stay the whole time. Okay. So, here's where you can find all of our episodes. You can find us at worldwarg.podbean.com. You can find us on iTunes and the Google Play Store. Just search World War G. On the social medias, you can find us at facebook.com/WorldWarG Podcast. We're also on Twitter and Instagram. Just search at WWG Podcast. You can find all of our shirts and buttons and all kinds of other swag at shop.spreadshirt.com/WorldWarG. You can also email us anytime.
Day or night.
At worldwgpodcast@gmail.com. And remember, you can always call or text the podcast at 385-240-1692. So, this has been World War G episode 166. That has been Adric.
That has been Troy.
Stay geeky, my friends, and remember, Wakanda forever.
Thanks, Troy. Hi, everybody. This is Sean Ray.
And John Irons.
And we're the hosts of Cosmic Potato, the Super Fan Talk podcast. We're a show that has a little bit of everything.
Yeah, we talk about movies and TV and cartoons, entertainment news, and every show has a different theme.
That's right. We might discuss anything from our favorite bad movies to who would win in a fight between C-3PO and the Tin Man from The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah. That was episode 41, a classic. You can download that episode and all of our other episodes on iTunes and Stitcher. We're on Podcast Addict and, of course, on our website, cosmicpotato.com.
It's special guests and movie news and geeky nerddom and nerdy geekery and lightsabers and Time Lords and Ninja Turtles all the way down. So check out Cosmic Potato, the Super Fan Talk podcast.
That's all, folks.